Let me ask you a question that might make you uncomfortable. What if I told you that one small Social Security decision you make in your early 60s could quietly cost you over $100,000 during your lifetime? No bad investments, no scams, no market crash. Just one choice that millions of men make every single year without realizing what they're giving up. If you're a man over 50, this video could be one of the most important things you listen to this year. Because Social Security isn't just a government check. For most men, it becomes the backbone of retirement. And the mistakes people make with it are permanent. Once you make them, there's no rewind button. Today, we're talking about 5 Social Security mistakes men over 50 must avoid. These aren't theoretical. These are real-life, painful mistakes I've seen friends, coworkers, and family members make and regret. And the first one? It's the most common. It feels harmless, and it quietly destroys your long-term income. Let's get into it. Mistake number 1. Claiming Social Security too early just to get something back. This mistake usually starts with a sentence like this: "I've paid into Social Security my whole life. I might as well take it as soon as I can." Sound familiar? For many men, age 62 feels like a finish line. You're tired. You've worked hard. Your body doesn't bounce back like it used to. Maybe your job feels more stressful than it did in your 40s. And the idea of getting a check every month, guaranteed, feels like relief. So you claim early. What most men don't realize is that 62 is not your full benefit. It's a reduced benefit. And that reduction lasts for the rest of your life. Let me show you how this plays out in real life. A real-life example: Dave's decision. Dave worked construction for over 35 years. Solid career, paid into Social Security every paycheck. At 62, his knees were shot, his back hurt, and work felt harder every year. When he found out he could claim Social Security at 62, it felt like a no-brainer. "I'll take the money now," he said. "Who knows how long I'll live?" Here's what Dave didn't fully understand. His full retirement age was 67. If he waited until then, his monthly benefit would have been about $2,400 a month. But by claiming at 62, that dropped to around $1,700 a month. That's a $700 difference every single month. At first, Dave didn't care. The money helped. He paid bills, took some pressure off. But fast forward 15 years. Dave is now 77. He's healthy, active, still around, which is great. But now that reduced check, it's permanent. Over those years, Dave lost well over $120,000 in total benefits compared to waiting. And that doesn't even include cost of living increases, which are based on your lower amount. That's the part that really hurts. Why this hits men especially hard. Men often think short-term. We're problem solvers. We see money available now, and we want to use it, especially if we're worried about health issues, job stability, or market uncertainty. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men underestimate how long they'll live. If you're 60 today, there's a very real chance you'll live into your 80s or longer. That's 20-plus years of Social Security checks. A smaller check over 20 or 25 years adds up to a massive loss. And once you claim early, you can't undo it. But what if I need the money? This is where things get tricky and emotional. Some men genuinely need the income at 62. Job loss, health issues, supporting family. And if that's your situation, early claiming might be necessary. But many men claim early not because they must, but because they haven't run the numbers. They don't realize that waiting even a few years can dramatically increase their monthly income. Here's something most people don't talk about. For every year you delay Social Security past 62, your benefit increases. And if you wait until age 70, your benefit can be up to 32% higher than at full retirement age. That's not a small bonus. That's a game changer. The psychological trap. Another reason men claim early is fear. Fear the system will run out. Fear benefits will be cut. Fear they won't live long enough to break even. But Social Security isn't a savings account you drain. It's insurance, longevity insurance. It protects you if you live a long time. And ironically, the men who are healthiest, the ones who would benefit most from waiting, are often the ones who claim early. That's the trap. The hidden cost no one talks about. Here's something most men never consider. Your Social Security decision doesn't just affect you. If you're married, claiming early can reduce your spouse's survivor benefit if you pass first. So your decision at 62 could affect your wife's income for the rest of her life. That's a heavy responsibility, and one many men don't realize they're carrying. The takeaway so far. Mistake number 1 isn't just about money. It's about patience. It's about understanding the rules, and it's about realizing that early feels good now, but costs you later. And here's the scary part. Many men make this mistake thinking they're being smart and responsible, but it's only the beginning. Because the next mistake is even more dangerous, and it happens after you start receiving benefits. Most men don't even realize they're doing it until Social Security sends them a letter demanding money back. And when we come back, I'll show you exactly how that happens and how to avoid it before it's too late. If you've already started thinking, okay, I'll just wait a little longer before I claim, then good, you're already ahead of the game. But here's where many men stumble after they start receiving Social Security. And this mistake blindsides people because it feels completely unfair when it happens. You're doing everything right. You're still working a little. You're staying active. And suddenly, Social Security says, you owe us money. Let's talk about mistake number 2. Working while claiming benefits without understanding the earnings limit. This one hits men over 50 hard, especially men who don't see themselves as fully retired. Because let's be honest, most guys don't just stop working one day and sit on the couch. We ease out, we consult, we work part-time, we take on projects. And Social Security allows you to work while collecting benefits, unless you understand the rules. Most men don't. The story of Mike. I thought I was doing the right thing. Mike was 63 when he claimed Social Security. He'd been laid off from his corporate job at 61 and decided not to jump back into the rat race. But he didn't want to stop working entirely, so he picked up a part-time role. Nothing crazy, about 25 hours a week, just enough to stay busy and bring in some extra income. Between his Social Security check and his part-time work, Mike felt like he'd found the perfect balance. Until one day, a letter arrived from Social Security. It said he'd been overpaid, and now they wanted the money back. Mike was confused, angry, embarrassed. How could they punish me for working? Here's what happened. The earnings limit no one explains clearly. If you claim Social Security before your full retirement age, there's an earnings limit. As of now, if you earn more than a certain amount in a year, Social Security withholds part of your benefit. The rule works like this. For every $2 you earn over the limit, Social Security withholds $1 from your benefit. And here's the kicker. They don't withhold it gradually. They usually stop your checks for months at a time. That's what shocks people. Mike went months without a Social Security check. Bills still came in. Stress went through the roof. But I didn't make that much. This is where men get caught off guard. The earnings limit isn't about what feels like a lot of money. It's a fixed number, and it includes wages and self-employment income. Overtime counts. Bonuses count. Side hustles count. Even selling services casually can push you over the limit. And Social Security doesn't call you to warn you. They just do the math later and send a letter. Why men fall into this trap? Men over 50 often underestimate how much they'll earn. We say things like, it's just a little extra. It's only part-time. I'm not really working that much. But Social Security doesn't care how you label it. They care about the numbers. And here's what really hurts. Many men end up losing benefits temporarily without realizing they could have avoided the situation entirely by waiting to claim. The emotional side of this mistake. This mistake feels personal. Men feel punished for working, for staying productive, for contributing. And psychologically, it stings, especially after decades of paying into the system. Some men get so frustrated they swear off working altogether, even though they enjoy it, just to avoid the hassle. That's not freedom. That's fear-based decision-making. The silver lining.
that most men never hear. Here's the part Social Security doesn't explain very well. If benefits are withheld because of earnings, you're not necessarily losing that money forever. When you reach full retirement age, your benefit is recalculated to account for months when checks were withheld. But here's the problem. Most men don't live long enough or stay informed enough to fully benefit from that adjustment. So while it's technically not lost, the damage still feels very real. How to avoid this mistake? The simplest solution: if you plan to keep working, even part-time, think very carefully before claiming early. Ask yourself, will I earn more than the limit? Could overtime or bonuses push me over? Am I self-employed without steady income tracking? If the answer is maybe, then claiming early might cost you more stress than it's worth.